Hello everyone, my name is Lisa and I'm the Viet vegan because I'm Viet and I'm vegan, and welcome back to another video where I just turn on the camera while I'm cooking and just hope for the best. This is what you get. This week I have been kind of cooking from like a very uninspired, I don't know if I'm burnt out, but like I'm not really excited about cooking. I normally am the type of person that like thinks about what I'm eating for the next meal, and this week I was just kind of like, oh right, it's 5 o'clock, I need to make something for dinner, or I need to eat something. So the meals are not the most inspired, but I did use up that one cucumber that I had to use imminently in this dip, which was very useful. We're making wraps with the chicken that I got from Costco. I haven't seen it at Costco lately, but I'm using up some toom that I got for these the first time we made these, but this is the last of the chicken from Costco. I really like this stuff. It is quite salty, so you have to use something to like balance it. So like the cucumber raita or the tzatziki is really useful. These are like Indian flavored, they're like tikka masala flavored, but I obviously am kind of making them more like a hero. So Eddie really liked this meal. Bean is like not super into it, but they did end up eating the majority of this wrap. They just like don't like holding it. They love a spoon and bowl kind of meal, and I don't always want a spoon and bowl kind of meal. Actually, no, that's not true. I always want a spoon and bowl kind of meal, but Eddie wants a handheld meal. He likes holding his food. He loves a nacho. He loves tacos. He loves burritos. He loves sandwiches, like that kind of holdy food kind of meal. I never realized that my family has this sort of like penchant for one or the other, but as I'm voicing it out loud, it's making me realize they have preferences in that sort of way. Just making some wraps. We've tried different vessels. Like I've tried like the more lavash flatbread, I've tried the like Greek style flatbread, and I find that the pita just works the best out of all of them. It holds up the best, and like the only issue is that sometimes the structural integrity of the pita gets compromised depending on how soon I add the sauces. I end up having to hold the wrap for Bean because Bean doesn't like getting their hands dirty, and then they get like frustrated that all the food is falling out. It's like not the best for like a sensory particular child, and like I'm also like that, so like I get it. So anyway, it was really good. I'm kind of sad that we won't be having these again in the near future because there's no chicken at Costco, but it was really good while it lasted. So if you have been following me on Instagram, you'll have seen that I kind of let the fridge get away from me a little bit. So this is been part of the process of trying to rein it back. So I bought a bunch of celery. I don't even remember what it was for. It's just been kind of sitting in the fridge, and celery lasts a really long time, so it wasn't a huge issue. I think I bought it for like a crunchy snack for Bean at school. I think this particular batch of celery, the strings on the back of the celery were like really thick, and Bean was not enjoying the flossing experience that celery can often deliver. I've had to cook it up a little bit, so I chop them up really finely because like you could pull at the strings, but then it's just like I feel like that's the fiber, right? So anyway, I'm making tuna casserole here with the celery, and then I bought some vegan Gusta tuna, which I find has really good protein benefits, and also I really like the texture. Eddie and Bean don't love the texture as much. They prefer the Omni tuna, but the Gusta tuna is just so affordable, and I really like the flavor. I feel like it's the most tuna-like out of all of them. So anyway, I made dinner, and this is what dinner was, and they ate it, so it was fine. But I found this pasta at Winners, and it's like this beautiful frilly pasta, and Bean really likes fun pasta, so I was like, you know what, we'll get it. It'll be great. Bean was excited. They really enjoyed the different colors, but then they were surprised by like how spicy some of them were. I don't know where the spice came from because this is like the most non-spicy meal I think I could have possibly made it. It's like literally casserole, right? I didn't use anything that would make it spicy, so I threw away the package so I couldn't tell where the spice was coming from. But in any case, it was really tasty. Eddie quite liked it. I liked it. Bean was kind of mixed on it. Casseroles, I always forget how useful they are in like a fridge clean out sort of situation. And if you want the recipe for this, I actually do have a recipe for vegan tuna casserole. I didn't measure at all while making this video, but I do have it measured for you if you would like that recipe, so I'll link it in the description. Looking back, I also regret not cooking this in my Le Creuset like brazier pan, because you can cook it on the stove and then put it in the oven, and that's way easier and is fewer dishes, and also is very fun to cook in, but I didn't think about that. So I have been using the new all-clad non-stick pan that I got from Winners, actually, the same time that I bought the pasta. My hex-clad ones that I had gotten in PR, like I want to say it was like 6 months ago, definitely within the last year, and those ones already stick, and I've noticed that pieces of the like black part, which they said wasn't Teflon, but it totally is Teflon, were chipping off and like we're getting in our food, so don't love that. So I have also tossed those pans. Actually, they're sitting on my counter ready to be tossed, but they haven't been tossed yet. As well as this wok that I had that I didn't realize was like all scuffed up on the bottom. And I just like, do I need to be looking into stainless steel and like learning how to cook with that properly? Because like I just find that they stick a lot for me, and no amount of like patience waiting for the water bead test, you know, using room temperature, none of it is working. And it must be a me problem because like obviously professional chefs use this, but like I can't figure it out even after using it for 2.5 years, because those were the pans that my mother-in-law had. She had induction stainless steel. I need non-stick, and it feels really wasteful because they only last about a year, right? And even if I bought ceramic ones or like the green pan ones, those are still ceramic coated, and just like Teflon, the coating on that makes it non-stick also lasts about a year, depending on how often you cook. I cook every day, 3 meals a day, so that's why it doesn't last as long for me. Like for some people it might last like 2 or 3 years. Those pans last a year for me. And so sustainability wise, it like is a big struggle for me because I don't want to be incurring so much waste when it comes to these pans. So maybe I need to go back to just using cast iron. I don't even know what it is, but there's some dishes that I use, like cooking with Just Egg. Like it is just not possible to use stainless steel with Just Egg. It just like is a whole mess. I've tried for 2.5 years. I've tried. This is like the eternal struggle that I'm in right now, trying to figure out what to do. Anyway, back to the clean out portion of this video. I am using up some old cornflake crumbs that I probably had in my pantry for about 2 years. I don't even remember what recipe I had used it on originally, but it's just been in my pantry. And so I'm using it here to make sort of like cauliflower bites. I bought this cauliflower. It was 2 giant heads for $5 at Farm Boy. And Bean has recently shown more interest in cauliflower, which is exciting to me. I do love a cauliflower wing situation. So this was our veggie. And then I'm using some Gardein vegan Mandarin chicken stuff that I bought from Grocery Outlet. And that was a good time. For this meal, I was extremely burnt out. I was like, I guess we need a vegetable and a protein and I have a carb. And so the end result was extremely beige and very fried food. It kind of didn't feel that good to eat for me personally. Eddie loved it, but I feel like I need more freshness. I need more herbs. In this era of my life, I'm like, I need the vegetables. And unfortunately, when I have no energy to like cook, I also don't have the energy to prepare vegetables. I mean, I'm preparing cauliflower here, but I made the mistake of breading it, I think. I think if I just like cut it up and just tossed it in with the sauce, it would have been better. Or maybe, I don't know. I just don't really like sweet sauces. Yeah, I think it's just the sweet sauce that I'm not into. But yeah, I really like the Gardein chicken. I hope Gardein chicken survives through this like era of plant-based mock meats and like companies kind of going down. Like if Beyond and Gardein and Impossible like and Just Egg don't survive, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'm really struggling. Gardein is just like so good for texture, and it just hits that spot of like the meaty, chewy, crunchy cravings, you know what I mean? This All Clad pan is actually working really well. Granted, like all brand new nonstick works amazingly, right? But All Clad is like a really reputable brand, so I was excited to try something with All Clad, although I think they're more well known for their stainless steel stuff. I've seen them at Costco. It's very expensive, and I was like, well, I cannot afford that today, but I can afford this $35 pan from Winners because I got a gift card from my realtor. This meal, I ended up adding cucumber, and it made this way more palatable for me. So if you make this, I highly recommend adding a green. The leftovers for this, I ate for lunch, and I think he wasn't really feeling this meal, so I think I ended up eating it just for ease of use. I have been trying to pack Beans and Eddie's lunches the night before to make the mornings a little bit more smooth and to eliminate Beans' input on lunch, because sometimes that can like derail, because once they have access to all the snacks, like it's over, because they've started to open and learn how to open snacks recently, and that is if you know, you know. And actually before we had this dinner, they were trying to be patient, but they were just getting really hangry, and so they were like, mama, I want a banana. And I was like, no, we're gonna wait for dinner. Like, you can't have a banana right now. I assumed that they had gone back to playing, but instead they had gone over to the banana stand, ripped off a banana, and then pulled back their chair, sat in their chair, and started peeling and eating the banana. And it was like so perfect, because that is exactly what I would let them do. Had they been allowed to eat a banana, I would have asked them to grab a banana, go sit down and get it. And like, they're being very independent, and it's very great, but I'm like, also at the same time, like, hey, it's dinner time, you can't eat a banana. I also said no. So it's like, I have to like balance the power trip versus letting this be a yes. But like, this couldn't have been a yes, because I knew they wouldn't eat dinner had they done this. So Yeah, parenting is like picking your battles and trying to figure out what hills you're willing to die on and like dealing with the fallout from dying on said hill. And sometimes I wish I could be more lenient, but then I pay for it in the end because Bean is very black and white. They're like, hey, if there is a rule, we have to follow that rule. And there's no like gray area. They can't navigate the gray. They need hard boundaries. And so it sucks because I feel like I'm being mean sometimes, but I have to do it because that's just the kid that I have. Anyway, I'm packing Bean's lunch here. I'm making kimbap for them with the leftover rice. And then we had these pickles from Inari Sushi. Actually, Bean has just been really into kimbap lately. And so I've been leaning in because it is an easy way for them to get a lot of food because kimbap is very nutrient dense. So I used a leftover bologna here to make the kimbap, and I've also used like Inari pockets, but I've noticed that they prefer the Omni tuna the best. Out of all of the different kimbap that I've made, the one with the tuna is the best. I think I want to also make the ones with like all the stuff that I put in bibimbap, like the carrots, the mushrooms, the spinach, but that all takes a lot of time to like prep in advance, and I just am not in that headspace right now. And then for their veggie, I've packed some carrots. They also have some dates and some graham crackers for their lunch, and then I'll also have some pineapple here, and I added a little paper towel on top so it doesn't leak everywhere. So we're definitely chipping away at the bins. I've been freezing my leftover rice so that one, I don't have to cook rice anytime I want rice, and then it's like very easy to just microwave like a block for like 2 minutes, and it has been good for reducing the amount of glycemic load or whatever. It's like good for resistant starch. It converts some of it to resistant. I don't know the science, but anyway, it's better for your blood sugar. So that's what I've been doing. It's also been very convenient. And then I cook a little bit extra rice every time I do cook rice, and then I just freeze whatever is left over, and we eat it within like a week or so because we just eat rice really quickly. And for Eddie's breakfast, I was meal prepping a couple jars of these overnight oats. So I make them with rolled oats. Typically I've been using steel cut oats, but I've been noticing that they need longer to like soak in. If he's gonna eat them like the next day, then I need to use like a thinner oat. So I've been using rolled oats for like a quicker turnaround. And then the steel cut oats, I think you need like 24 hours for it to like really be softer. So yeah, I'm using some Thai iced tea that I brewed with some cinnamon coffee creamer. If you had like vanilla coffee creamer, that would be better, but I didn't. So I'm using what I have, and the color looked nice and Eddie liked them. So it is what it is. But I actually let those ones soak for a little bit too long, and the texture got like watery and also slimy. So he didn't love this batch, but it was because I made them on a Thursday and he ate them on the Monday, and he was like, I don't know if that is quite right. And then after I did all of this cooking and prepped the lunch and stuff for the next day, I was like overstimulated by the amount of dishes. And as you can see, the stack of dishes that I need to donate, it's the wok and the hexclad pans. I don't even know what to do with them. They're such good quality in terms of like build, but then they just like don't work. And then they're literally chipping Teflon into my food. It's sitting there. I think at one point I'm just gonna throw them in the garbage because like what else can you do with them? You can't recycle them. I don't know what to do. So anyway, cleaning the dishes, trying to reset my kitchen because I'm trying to be a cleaner person. The other day it was funny because Eddie was like, I think we're gonna have to start doing a nightly cleanup in Bean's room because I kept tripping over toys. And in my head I was like, yeah, that's why every time we start playing with an activity and Bean wants to change activities, I tell them to put it away. And usually with me, that's not an issue. And like they don't usually play in their room when I'm home, because like if I say like go play in your room, I'm doing something else, like I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm doing something else, but they just want to be with me, so they just end up being in the kitchen with me. Whereas like when Eddie is home, Eddie will like sit down and play with Bean, whereas like I try to encourage independent play. So anyway, their room doesn't get a lot of use when I'm home with them alone, but when Eddie is home with Bean, their room gets like torn apart because they play with all the toys, which is like great. I'm glad that they're being played with, but I just thought it was funny because Eddie was like, we should employ a cleanup after you're done whatever activity thing, and I'm like, yeah. I've been doing that. Clearly you have not. But anyway, it has been really nice to have Eddie home more. Bean has been loving having Eddie home. I think at this point, Eddie is actually the preferred parent because he will just stop everything and just play. Whereas like, I'm like, no, like I'm going to cook dinner. I'm going to do dishes. I'm going to do whatever. And like Eddie will also do dishes and stuff like that here and there. But I think because Eddie's just home on weekends for the most part, and like for the like last hour or two before bedtime, he is like really soaking in all of the like dad time that he can. And he he is really, really great with Bean. Honestly, I couldn't have chosen a better partner and a better father to Bean. Like I'm really grateful. It's been interesting navigating like more Eddie, but less of my other community in terms of like my mom friends and stuff like that. And I know I've just moved here and like it's been like a month and a half. It'll be a slow start as I meet new people. But I've noticed that when I am in a new setting, especially with like Bean's extracurriculars, I don't really know what I'm doing. I am talking to different people. Anytime I have like opened up a little bit, I find that person, I'm not a good fit for them or they're not a good fit for me. I'm not really sure. Whatever. I know that that's just a process of like meeting new people. It's not that I'm feeling discouraged. I don't know if I'll find my people here. And I know that I know it's only been like a month and a half. It's been a process. So I've been pouring more of my energy into our home and making sure like our house is clean, and like Eddie and I have been playing Baldur's Gate and I've been reading more, and like honestly most of my spare time during the day is spent working anyway. Then I'm with Bean and then we're cleaning up and then we have like 2 hours before we have to go to bed. We're settling into our routine again, but I feel like we've been doing a pretty good job of sort of finding a balance so that like Eddie and I both get enough of reprieve that we are filling our own buckets again. So Eddie's been able to go back to the gym, I'm back at the gym. We've got a good thing going. And we're still chipping away at the boxes. So for today's breakfast, I made this hash brown frittata tortilla sort of situation. I don't really know how to explain it, but I'm using up the hash browns that are expired in my problem bins. And I think I have maybe 1 or 2 more boxes left. Bean really likes these hash browns, so I don't know why I haven't been making them more often, but it's been good, very tasty. We used some just eggs, some vegan sausage. All those things were actually from Grocery Outlet. So I feel like, you know, we're doing the thing. I'm back on the arugula apple sort of sandwich hyperfixation. This time I'm not using turkey because I had a salami package that was still open, and I really like the salami. I forgot how much I like the salami, but it's not really sold a lot of places and they're gonna be gone forever soon. I'm so sad. Look at that sandwich. That is such a good time. I think we have about like a dozen apples left, which I feel like is really good progress considering we started with like 50. We're just chipping away, building good habits, doing our thing. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this very yappy video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry it's late. I hope you have a delicious day. Goodbye.